What's happening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business of Strength podcast. I'm Dan Goodman, and I will be bringing a solo episode to you here today. We've got some really exciting things swirling around our team, the Business of Strength team, and obviously the Varsity House crew and team. This spring, we've talked about it on the show, we're opening our second rendition of Varsity House personal training in the great town of Oradell, New Jersey. That process so far has been super smooth. We have construction is done. We have the deliveries from our good friend at Elite FTS, Matt Goodwin. He's going to be stopping by in the next week to set up the equipment. We've got our Perform Better stuff that's arrived. And overall, the town's been very welcoming, and the list is growing of people that want to become members there. So we're super excited about it. And we are, obviously, as we go, we are gym owners and consultants, but we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between to bring a real world experience to our listeners and a real world experience to the people that come to our events. And you learn by doing, and obviously having HQ open since 2006 here in Orangeburg, New York. We started our first VHPT personal training business in 2021 in Ridgewood, learned a ton from that. Now the second rendition of it in Oradell is going way smoother, and we're really excited to talk about the results of that launch in further episodes. So without further ado, I do want to bring to your attention on March 22nd. That is our first live event of the year. We are having 5 live events. That's it. 5 live events. The first one in Q1's March 22nd. It is Personal Trainer School. People are like, what is Personal Training School? Personal Training School is for the personal trainer that's trying to increase their value in their specific gym, club, sports performance facility. We are going to give you the tips, tools, and acumen to become a more valuable team member. If you are a gym owner that's listening to this and have team members that you want to acquire those skills, this is the event for them. It's not expensive. It's March 22nd. It's a great usage of time. It'll be a Friday. We are going to be going from 10 a.m. till 5 or 6 p.m. I have to check the itinerary, but it's going to be pretty much all day. We will have a short lunch. We are going to train, and it's going to be a great event. That's March 22nd. You could find the information in the show notes. So it segues me to what we want to talk about here today on the show. So people look at it's like, okay, I've got this thing going. I've got this gym going. I have one part-time person. I'm coaching. I kind of know a little bit about marketing, but I'm really having a tough time getting somebody in this business besides me or my significant other or a longtime friend or former client that does a couple of sessions. And I look at that as a problem that can be solved. And it's a mindset shift of recruiting is marketing. Marketing is recruiting. Better players make for better teams. And I had this slide up at our at the retreat in Arizona, and it's a picture of Nick Saban. And a lot of people know Nick Saban as the most winningest coach, or I think he's one of the most winningest coaches in college football history. He's won a ton of games. Alabama, the statistic at Alabama is, I think, every 4 years, if you went to Alabama, every 4 years they won a national championship under Nick Saban's tenure. So you were pretty much guaranteed. If you went to Alabama as a football player and graduated and stayed for 4 years, you won a national title, which is a crazy statistic. But you looked at Nick Saban in college and in the pros, he was still a good coach, same X's and O's, but what got eliminated? What got eliminated was his ability to recruit, right? There's a salary cap in football. Yeah, of course, I know franchises can do certain things and have better working conditions, but ultimately it's a very similar playing field due to salary cap. In college, it's not a similar playing field because some colleges have exponentially more money to spend on recruiting and development of players, like not even the same universe. And he was a masterful recruiter. I look at our business, and when I take inventory since 2006, 2012, 2016, as we've improved our recruiting of not only, getting clients, but getting team members to want to come and work here has been a massive catalyst, massive, to our ability to grow. And there's two things that influence business. Obviously, it's leads, getting leads, and leadership. Leadership sucks when you don't have good people to lead. And the first thing I'll start with here, and obviously we've been influenced quite a bit by EOS and People Analyzer and the GWC, right? Like we love that stuff. But really, ultimately, what we look for in the hiring process, first and foremost, is, are the people that we are interviewing, are they our core values? Are they hungry? Are they humble? Are they committed? Are they socially smart? And we run them through our core values and to see, like, are these people, are these candidates those things? Because we can teach people the skill sets to become a more effective coach. As long as they have the core values, we can teach anybody how to coach somebody. We can teach anybody about business as long as they're willing, as long as they're focused on getting better at it. Okay, that's the first thing. And the second thing is the psychology that a gym business can recruit staff, right? Like that you don't live in a location where you can't recruit a coach. You don't, there are strength coaches that are true professionals or can work into being a true professional. And if you've had poor experiences in the past, you have to look in the mirror and say, did I have a poor experience in the past because I was unclear about the expectation? I was unclear about the role. My offer letter was a mess. There was no career trajectory. And it's okay if you said yes to all those things, because we have too. Right now, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to bring you up to speed on our process today at Varsity House. First and foremost, we started with the roles that our business needs to be filled and what those roles pay out. A lot of times businesses are influenced by let's call it a new recruit or a free agent that has all these clients, all this experience, this beautiful resume, and we just create a position for them out of thin air and pay them more than we should. It starts with the structure of, what does your business need to be successful? What are the critical roles that need filling? What can those critical roles be paid? And you might say, like, well, I just need a coach. Well, that's great. What can you afford to pay a coach? What are the duties and responsibilities you need that coach to be able to do? And obviously somebody that's listening to this might say, well, I have 100 members now, but I'm planning on having 150. Okay, well then have a scale. The coaching scale starts at this much per hour or per week and can scale all the way to this much per hour per week. And obviously we want to make sure that payroll stays within the budget. Obviously, we've worked with Mike Waldron for a long time. Mike would tell you that payroll your salary cap should never exceed 40% of your revenue, and you work backwards from there. So it's just a good frame of reference. Okay. So it starts with knowing what roles need filling on your team, what you can pay those roles, and what the expectations of those roles are. From there, we start with our internship program. So the internship program here started in 2008, and it really was, I have to give credit to my business partner, Joe, where he had been a adjunct professor, still is an adjunct professor at Montclair State University. So there were exercise science and kinesiology majors that knew he was training people and getting paid, back in the stone ages of 2005, 6, 7, and there'd be people to come shadow. And we really professionalized that process in 2008, I believe, which was our first internship class. And the very first true intern was Big Mike. And every year since, every single year, the last 15 years, we have recruited a college level internship program. If you look at that program, it was first unpaid, now unpaid, but you could get college credits. Now it is, there's a stipend program. That stipend is $100 a week for 10. It's about $1,000 plus college credits. And what that has done for us is given us the opportunity to hire somebody from the internship nearly every year to an assistant coaching role. So it's essentially become a 10-week interview, and the applicants know that there will be a job at the end of the road. Most of these interns are sophomores and juniors in school that go to local schools, Montclair State, Ramapo, Stack. So they're William Patterson, they're local, so that when they go back to the school year and we did want to hire them, they can still give us spot hours throughout the year. As our business grew and we needed help quicker, obviously we could no longer bet on our internship class leading to an assistant coach. We needed to ensure that we could hire and develop somebody outside of just the summertime. We literally, as a business, we would develop an employee or crop of employees only in the summer. And if we didn't have a great class or nobody panned out or somebody was moving back to California or whatever it was like, we're shit out of luck. So what we've done in the last, let's say, 4 to 5 years is really professionalize the recruiting and on-the-job training at the gym. And the step-by-step process for us is obviously identifying need based on what is needing, what role are we trying to fill? We start with that. What role are we recruiting for here? That's what it starts with. Then we have our roles. Each role has a ad or a job opportunity ad that can go right to Indeed. So if we need an assistant coach, we're not writing a new job ad. If we need a full-time coach, we're not writing a new job ad. If we need a facility leader role, we're not writing a new job ad. We have those things at our disposal to launch right on Indeed with our paid ads. So that's the first thing. It goes right to Indeed with those job postings and listings. That's the first step. The second step is we email our list. You know, if you're a business that emails, and you should be, if your list has 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 plus people, the 1 or 2 degrees of separation, it will be there. You'd be surprised that somebody's brother or cousin or mother or colleague, they see a job listing for a good job, the word is going to start to spread. And last but not least, social media. We post to social media with the application and it goes Indeed, paid ad, email, social media. The next step is you start accruing and evaluating resumes. From there, the resume will go to a phone call. We will take out the resumes that hit our status quo of what we would deem to be acceptable. And in years past, it was the person had to be going to college or have a college degree. We've become more lax on that and more favorable to experience and what they've done, certifications, things like that. We will then go, we will take that criteria and take it to a phone call. Joe, still to this day, does the first vetting phone call. So they get on the phone with the founder of the company for 15 to 20 minutes, and he asks some very basic pointed questions. If they do well on the phone interview, we schedule an in-person interview. The in-person interview has to have three full-time team members in on the interview. We have our interview questions are the same exact questions. We've got 20 interview questions with 3 full-time Varsity House team members in that room. part of it is, I laugh about it, but part of it is presentation, interpersonal communication. These people coming in, they're going to be working with people. Can they have a conversation? Can they shake hands? Can they look people in the eyes? Can they sit in the room with 3 representatives of our company and have a lucid conversation without them sweating or stumbling or bumbling or, only talking to one person in the room? I want to see what that looks like. And it's very important. If somebody can get through that in-person interview and want to come back, it means that, there's a level of give a shit on their end. After the in-person interview with 3 representatives from our team and the same 20 questions that we use every time, we will stay in that room when they leave, and we will make a quick decision on whether or not we want to see this person for an in-person shadow day. The in-person shadow day will be booked if we get them through that process. That person is booked for a 3-hour shadow. This is unpaid, and typically it's early in the morning. We want to see, can this person show up when they were supposed to, get on the floor, and this will be with our coaching crew. Typically, this person will come in and shadow Adam for 3 hours. Adam has a rehearsed process. So if you're listening to this and you've interviewed here, I'm giving you some of the secrets. He has a rehearsed process to put people in a situation to coach, to see how they interact with clients coming in the door. Just a smile, a wave. Hey, let's just say it was Dan. Hey, Dan, I got 6 people coming in at 7 a.m. You're going to help me out by getting the 2 racks set up with safety squat bars, and you'll support, and I'll introduce you to rack 2, and you could help change weights and spot that group. Something super basic as a coach. You should know what a safety bar is. You should know how to rack weights, and you should know how to spot people up, and obviously introduce yourself to brand new people. If it's the right person, you should be able to walk into any weight room, any gym, and be able to do those basic things. So there's some little nuanced quizzes during the shadow period that will end. Our next meeting, our next leadership team meeting, we'll evaluate and we'll take inventory of the people that did the shadow day, or if it was just one person, and we'll see if we want to go forth with an offer letter. The offer letter is drafted, and the offer letter is presented in person or on Zoom. We do not just send the offer letter, so there's room for interpretation. We schedule a meeting to go over the offer letter to make sure there is extreme clarity on the offer and what the expectation is. It's important to note, and it's something I glossed over. Before the offer letter is sent, we require references. Couple days before we want to make an offer, we've made a decision to do the offer, draft up the offer letter. We call references. And I highly suggest you ask for references and you call references. This is something that we did not do or require in years past. It is one of the first things that we do when we get in a leadership meeting. We say, hey, we want to move forward on this person. They seem great. They did awesome on the phone interview, awesome in person. They did great in the shadow. Cool. The last step now before the offer is we are calling references. We are making sure that this person is who we think they are. When the offer letter comes through, they accept, don't accept. If they do accept, that's the point in which we will start getting all the back end material set up and ready to go. We will always have at least a 2-week period from offer and them starting, so that at that point, and this is the final checkpoint, they do a background check. We run our background checks directly through our payroll service, ADP. They run a background check for us, and that's our process, start to finish. When that person onboards, they're given a 90-day on-the-job roadmap of simple things, like super simple things to complex things. It could be, check mark. Do you have your CPR certification? Is your training certification up to speed? Have you done a post introducing yourself in the Facebook group? Have you had a one-on-one meeting with every full-time team member in the company? Like, it's a checklist of things to do to fill in downtime. They're given that. They're given the responsibility to do it in 90 days. They get a booked weekly meeting to make sure they're on track. And then it's sink or swim, baby. All right. We want, obviously, if we've done all this work, we want this person to work out. But that's our process, top to bottom, for the logistics of recruiting. We start with core values. We vet people through the phone call with the founder, Joe. It goes to an in-person interview with 3 full-time team members. It goes to a shadow day with our coaching crew and director of training, which is Adam, 3 hours on the floor. From there, we go reference check, offer letter, background check, 90-day on-the-job training. The process is super rehearsed. We spend a lot of time rehearsing the onboard of clients, right, to make sure that they were well matriculated and having a good experience as a client. We've spent the same amount of time, effort, and energy on the team side, because if you have a strong team, you can, if you have a strong team, it's everything. Better players make for better teams, leads and leadership. We professionalize the lead process earlier than we probably really professionalize the leadership process. But as we've married the two things up in the last few years, we've really seen exponential growth in our company. So that is our process for recruiting and hiring. Obviously, this is something that we could riff on and talk about development for hours. If you all want to hear more on this or have questions about our recruiting roadmap, you can shoot me an email directly at dan@varsityhousegym.com. I'd be happy to help you out. And reminder, March 22nd, Personal Trainer School. Link in the show notes if you want to be there, if you have a crew member that should be there. We expect it to be a sold-out event, and we're really excited to see you. As always, 5-star reviews are much appreciated, and have a great day. Peace out, everybody. Later.